Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yay!
Thank you, everybody, for being here. That's like one of my favorite songs. So that was like such a perfect way to kick us off.
That was an
Welcome,
awesome
ladies.
song.
Welcome, everybody who may be watching from Facebook land, YouTube land, Zoom land, wherever you might be tuning in from. We're so happy that you're here. And I'm so excited to be here with these beautiful ladies to get into our first virtual single ladies panel brought to you by Miss K with BCIP Productions. So excited to be here with you all tonight. My name is Tiana, and I will be the host of this luxurious panel. And we're going to be talking about being single, getting back into the dating world here in Connecticut, what ladies are looking for in 2026, and some of the highs and lows of dating in today's environment. So we are happy that whoever has decided to lock in with us, and we're excited to hear from you a little bit later in the panel. But we're going to kick it off with letting the ladies introduce themselves and telling us a little bit about who they are. And I'm going to start with the lovely DJ Melanie, who's already here on my screen at least. So Melanie, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. I'm in Plainville. Um, I am a God-fearing woman. I am a mother of three children, adult children. My youngest just turned 18. My uterus is off limits. I'm donating the uterus to somewhere for like soup. I don't know where. But career paralegal, been doing it for 17 years. And then DJing at night, and I'm a karaoke queen. I'd love to find my karaoke king and my God-fearing man, and who doesn't want babies.
I love
Maybe
it.
doesn't
I love it.
have younger babies.
I love it. Thank you, Melanie, for being here.
Yeah,
Looking forward to talking more with you later on in the panel. And I'll kick it off
yes.
to what I see next, at least on my screen, Miss Gwen, the lovely Miss Gwen. You want to tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gwen Samuel, but for the purposes of tonight, you can call me Stella because I am for surely trying to get my groove back at 60. So, with that being said, right, I'm a mama, I'm a grandma, I have grown children, I've experienced loss, I'm in regroup mode, I'm in self-care mode, and I'm just looking for that king to be a life partner with.
Awesome. Thank you
Yes.
so much for being here, Miss Gwen. And now I'm going to kick it off to the lovely Marcia. Marcia, tell the people a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you chose to be part of this panel this evening.
So my name is Marcia. I'm 61. Um, my background, I'm a mom to amazing men. I'm a Gigi to two adorable little babies. Um, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a cousin, I'm a friend. And the reason I'm here is because why not? It's like I'm at that phase of my life where why not? Whatever comes my way, why not?
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Being open to new opportunities is how you stay open to love and beautiful experiences. So I love that, Miss Marcia. Thank you for being here. And last but certainly not least, the lovely Miss Thomasina, who also goes by Tommy. Is it okay if I call you Tommy?
Yes.
All right. So tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 61. I'll be 62 in May. I'm a mother of two adults. I'm a hairstylist for 45 years. I am I'm back in the single world. After 13 years, I took myself out of the dating world. So I decided that I needed a refreshment of myself before I get back into the world so I'll be able to be true to someone.
Beautiful. Well, we're happy to have you here. And this is a great way to get out there and learn new things and talk to some other ladies and learn a little bit more about yourself. So we're going to kick it off with our very first question. And the question is, if you think about your love life over the past 5 years or so, and you had to give it a title, could be any title, song title, movie title, book title, sitcom title, horror movie title, what would be the title of your life and why? And we'll kind of go back into the same order that we started with, going back with Melanie.
Oh no!
Yes, Miss Melanie.
No pressure. I was supposed to prepare a little bit better, but I would say it would have to be all by myself. Don't wanna be, because I really have. I've been single for 2 years and I have been strictly like just collecting dust all by myself. Like I went on one date in 2 years and that was recently. So yeah, that pretty much describe it.
All right. Well, that's honest. And let's see if we can, change that. Change that, if not tonight, very soon, the very near future.
We shall see.
All right. So let's kick it over to Miss Marcia. What would your name, the title of your love life be?
The title of my love life would be It's a Different World, because that is exactly what it is. I mean, it's been 12, 13 years since I dated, only because I was in a marriage. So I've been single for 3 years. And these 3 years have just been like a different world. Men are different now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you can't just leave us hanging with that type of
I think men are
statement now. We
different.
got,
It's almost like they want you to chase them.
Oh,
And I
yes.
believe that the Bible says he who finds a good woman, you know what I'm saying, finds a good thing. So I'm not looking for a man. I'm waiting for my man to find me.
okay.
That's
Okay.
good.
That's real. All right. What about you, Miss Gwen? What title you rocking with?
So I want to preface before I answer my response. I understand the order of things. When the word of God says, "When a man find a wife, he find a good thing." But the name of my title is "Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places." All the wrong places. And I wasn't even at the club and they still the wrong places. I wasn't even right. You understand? They were still in the wrong places. But I will say, right, during the time that I will, so I'm going to give myself some grace with that statement because I've experienced loss. I've lost children to fatal car accidents, but they're in heaven now. So I know they will be happy me taking this risk. So it was a hard time. And so I got scared in that moment. So I felt that I needed a man. Something in my mind, the world became scary. And so when it became scary for me, I said, you know what? I'm going to try dating. I'm sure there's going to be someone there, that can just let me cry on their shoulders. But to the young ladies that spoke before, men are very different right now. So I took myself off the market, healed a little bit, and so, yeah, so looking for love in all the wrong places, understanding we're not supposed to be looking.
Exactly.
No, and thank you for your vulnerability and sharing that, and definitely condolences going out to you for the loss of your children. But you bring up something really important when you mention, dating out of kind of a fear, like you were fearful and you went into the dating world. And I think that, not saying that it was a mistake, but certainly if you date from that posture, you're going to attract a certain thing. And so it's unfortunate you had to go through that, but it's fortunate that you are in a position to recognize dating from a whole place and dating from a fearful place, and the outcomes are likely to be very different. So
Oh, very different. Not even
yeah,
like they will definitely be
yes.
very different because people know vulnerabilities, especially if you
Mhm.
got those that pray, right?
Exactly.
Or you have a broken man that's looking for something himself. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I didn't meet established people. They were just from a different planet.
Yeah.
And even though we were peers, I didn't understand what world did they grow in that we were, because they were my peers. So
Right.
it just lets
Right.
you know to your worth is a different world.
Mm,
Very much so.
absolutely. All right, Miss Tommy, what about you? What is the title of?
What mine would be Killing Me Softly.
Oh no.
And the reason why I use that is because everything from my past, I want to put it to a kill. And I want to start a future with something different.
All right.
So I go with the Killing Me Softly because you got to get rid of the past before you can start a future.
Absolutely. I like the twist on that. I was a little worried for a
Yeah.
second. So all right, don't go anywhere because I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna go in reverse order this time and start with you, Miss Tommy. So if someone,
Okay.
let's flash forward, let's say that today you met, somebody who's really great and wonderful, and let's say you guys been dating for about 30 days. What would they quickly realize about you within that 30-day time frame that may not be obvious at first?
Oh, well, that's kind of a hard question because mine is always the truth. And so learning me in 30 days, I don't veer from the truth. So anything that you ask me 30 days from now will be the same answer because I'm a woman of my word and I stand by it.
I like it. I like it. Can't go wrong with that. You get what you see what you get. So,
Exactly.
all right, Miss Gwen, what about you? What is somebody going to find out about you in 30 days that, they might not have realized at first? That's maybe not very obvious right up front, but within 30 days, they're going to find out.
Oh, well, at first I was about to say I have a great sense of humor, but they'll find that out from from the very beginning, especially if they talking crazy. And then you have to be polite, but you still want to keep it moving. So yeah. So with what they find out about me is that I work a lot in the community. So this is also a good space for me to how to put me first because I have not nan problem putting anyone else first. If I see an injustice, I'm a need meter. Like, you know what I mean? I fill in the gaps. If there's something going on with children, I'm there. If you don't want a problem with me, mess with children and mess with the elderly. You're going to see a different side of me. All respectful, of course, but with that being said, I don't always want to be that. That's who I am, right? You will tell those fruits of the spirit. But I also want to learn how to put me first. So me, they'll know that I'm a giver. I'm a doer, most definitely a doer. So I'm looking for someone that says, mama, we going over here today. Because I know you would do that. So let's do something together. So I'm looking for a man who can kind of help me put some boundaries there when it comes to my outreach, my self boundaries. No one can help me with that but me.
Excellent, excellent. All right, thank you for sharing that. Miss Marcia, what about you? What's somebody going to find out about you within 30 days of dating you?
That I don't cook. 30 days in, they'll be like, we went to another restaurant. Yes, we did.
I'm with you. I'm team no cooking too. I might once in the blue, once in the blue, once in the blue.
Yeah. No, I I'm intentional on coming with my authentic self. So what you see is what you get. So 30 days later, you're not going to be like, oh, she changed up. It's going to be the same on the 31st day as it was on the first day.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And last but certainly not least, DJ Melanie, what about yourself? What are the people going to find out? What is the lucky man going to find out within 30 days that may not be obvious right up front?
Right. So he's going to find out that the manual to me comes right out of my mouth. Like, if you make a suggestion that we should go here, I'm going to tell you straight up, that's not really my vibe. I'm not really a go with the flow entirely. I'm not going to be like a yes woman. I'm going to say things about me, things I like, things I don't like. I'm not going to just go with the flow, like I said. But if I ever cut somebody off, I'm sure he'll have a realization of like, oh yeah, she did say that. Because I'm a communicator. And again, the manual to me comes right out of my mouth. And if you listening, great. But you only get a certain amount of time before I'm like, yeah, he's not listening.
Mm.
So I'm not going to drag it out like I used to, in the past, where it's like, oh yeah, it's been 5 years. You still haven't figured me out. Yeah, it's not. It dwindled. It went from 5 to 1 to 3 days.
Oh, she said you got 3 business days to get it together, or you're
That
out.
part.
Yes.
I hear it. I hear it. All right. So love, we're all mature women. We've been, through ups and downs in life. And there's probably a lot of things that we had to unlearn in our journeys of relationships and love. And so I'm curious, and I'll start with you, Miss Gwen. What is something that you used to believe about love that you had to unlearn?
So I'm a reader. So I grew up on the Harlequin books. For the y'all young generation don't know nothing about Harlequin, but
I know about those. I was raised by
okay.
actors.
So I read, and so I grew up believing in the prince is going to save me. Though I mean, I really did. I played with Barbie dolls, kid at Barbie. They would go Mickey. He always came to save the day. He changing the tires on the pink Barbie doll thing. You understand? I had that vision. But again, I was also very skinny and small. So, I mean, in middle school they gave me an F. I was smart, but you know what I mean, people could be mean. So for me, what I've learned is that um, fairy tales are for the book.
Mhm.
All right. Superman is in the Marvels and Avengers movie, and and yeah, that fairy tales are in the books. And and then I really became that. Like I said, when I was going through something, I was really in my mind thinking that there's going to be this person that says, I understand what you're going through, and I would just want to be that person to be. But that wasn't the case. Again, they saw a vulnerable woman at the time.
Mm.
But I'm like the DJ though, Miss DJ. I did warn him though. I said, listen, I'm going through something like that. I may not be that same person when I heal, so I suggest you behave on the front end. Because when the
I know
Exactly.
healing
that's right.
comes on the back end, you just
I know
gonna
that's
wish you
right.
didn't meet me on the date line. I'm just saying. And so now I cut everybody off. This is a new start. And so guess who calling? All those same numbers. You were right. No, we good, baby. I don't hate anyone. When you lose someone, when you lose a child, your lens is different.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
this is not about hating anyone. This is not about a bad man or a good man. This is what God is going to bring for me. But I know I got to put in the work as well. And so
Absolutely.
I've learned to use my words. So
Absolutely.
no fairy tales, and I've learned to use my words.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Miss Marcia, what about yourself? What is something that you had to unlearn in your journey through love?
I would say I used to believe that you could teach somebody how to treat you.
Mm.
And I was always told you have to show somebody how to treat you. And that's not true. I can show you, I can live by example, but if it's not in you, it's just not in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to think it was me, and it's not me, it's that person. Just they're not a bad person. They just aren't able to give what it is I needed. And
Right.
so I had to learn that you can't always teach people how to treat you.
Very true. Very, very true. All right, Melanie, we're going to bounce back over to you. What about yourself? What did you have to unlearn about love in your dating adventures?
Um, I had to learn not to bring home stray dogs. What I mean by that is I've been doing that since I was a little girl. Hey, you puppy. Let me fix it. Let me save it. Let me help it. Let me do its resume. Let me help it find a good job. Let me help it with its, visitation issue paperwork. No, do that anymore. Because being a paralegal, I always find myself doing like the wordy stuff, the paperwork, the I can help you, let me help you, I see potential. And it's like, no, because the last one I was with, he's like, if I'm not able to meet up to your standards, your expectations, will you still be there? No. I invested so much time. I did the resume. You're supposed to take off from here. But I'm not fixing anyone anymore. You have to be cooked in the oven. You have to be done now. It's not like, oh, I'm almost there. I've almost figured out my life. No,
Yeah,
and I'm
well
not going to help
done.
you.
Falling off the meat, falling off the bones. I hear you. I hear you.
Girl,
Yeah.
I want to be you when I grow up, okay?
No more dating potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Took a while.
going back to what Miss Gwen was talking about with the fairy tales, it's something that us women like we can really make something out of nothing. So it's like if we see a little glimmer of hope, we're like, okay, we could just put a little bow here, fix up something
Yeah.
over here, wipe it down over there, and make it
Is
all
dating
shiny.
the potential that we think they can become.
Yeah, and that's the
Yes.
thing.
And
That's one of my things. You gotta stick into how you feel right now. Who is
Mhm.
showing you right now today
Exactly.
all you have to work with. You can't
exactly.
all these fantasies.
And
Yeah.
that's very
Yes.
important, right? Because I think about my grief counselor, and I was telling the people I was experiencing, I was meeting, and she let me just go through this because, she said, I just want you to be safe, right? Because you're in your head. So I need you to think safety, so that was her girl, not tell me what to do. And there's one thing she said, I just need you to come into reality. Why do you like such a, so you're asking me. She said, because I believe he is such. She said, but you're saying the past. I need you to get into reality. Who is he today
Mm.
to you? Right? And that was the takeaways that I've learned, right? Who are people, who are they now? You know what I mean? Not this should have, could have. Again, that was this fantasy. Oh, he's such a hard worker and everything, but treat me disrespect, raising his voice, acting like I'm his child. But I did warn him. I'm going to heal one day. So please do not mess around and find out. In Jesus' name, don't find out. And that's why I'm on to pop the balloon, try to figure it all out, learning from
FAFO.
all of you.
Okay. You're in
And
good
it sucks.
company.
what sucked though for me, what I would see though when I would fix them is they were better they became better men from being with me. They climbed that ladder, but there was somebody else. So
Mm,
somebody else, like I met him unhealed, this, that, and the third, and now you are reaping, what I sowed.
Right.
yeah,
The
That
that's the
part.
benefits
way.
of everything that I did for that man. And he wasn't like that when I was with him, but by the time I'm done with him, like when we break up, it's like, yeah, I've done endured so much stuff. And now here you go. Here's your present.
Right.
Feels
Yeah.
great in the beginning.
What about yourself, Miss Tommy? What's something that you had to unlearn in your love journey?
Well, honestly, I've had a pretty good one. I mean, my journey's been pretty good. I've
Good.
I've been married twice, but through through my first marriage with my kid's father, it was beautiful. So it was more of me giving all of me than me learning about the men. It
Mm,
was me being protective over me. And so being protective cause costs you some things. And sometimes it costs you a good relationship. And my last relationship before I moved here to Connecticut was 10 years. And he was a good man. But me not knowing how to trust caused me my relationship. So I took the 13-year, I call it the cleansing moment. And it's 13 years. Some people say 13 years. Yeah, 13 years because I wasn't only cleansing from men, I was cleansing to get myself in the right place with God
yeah.
because I am in that place. So
Amen.
I needed to be cleansed and I had to have a forgiving heart in order to go forward and be truthful with myself and anybody else that comes in my life. So I've had a good one. I've had a good run. I just took myself out of the dating scene, especially since I came to Connecticut. Learning new people because I came from Texas.
Mm,
So I'm learning the different behaviors of men being in this state. So it helped me being single at the moment. But now I'm ready.
all right.
So.
I hope they're ready for you as well.
Oh, they better be.
They better be. I know that's right, young lady. Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna kick it over to Miss Marcia with the next question. Now, we live in a very instant gratification, highlight reel world, especially with social media. And so, we think of a lot of times we associate love with these big romantic gestures and all of this beautiful stuff that we see on our social media feeds. But tell us for yourself, what does the kind of love that you're looking for feel like or on a normal day? On a every Tuesday, not just the highlight reels. What does that feel like for you, Miss Marcia?
What I'm looking for in love is my best friend. Just that person that we don't always have to be doing something. We could be sitting on the couch watching Mass Singer. You know what I'm saying? Betting on who's that under the basket or whatever. I just want someone that I could just laugh with, um, just vibe with. Like, I don't need flowers. I can buy myself flowers. Um, let's jump in the car and let's drive to Bridgeport and get seafood. Because I'm not cooking. Um, just someone I could just vibe with and hang with, and that's what I'm looking for. And I had that until I didn't. You know, so I'm not trying to recreate that, but I'm trying to recreate a portion of my relationship my last relationship, just because we just were like we were goofy together. You know what I'm saying? Pillow fights and just chilling. And that's what a Tuesday would look like.
Awesome. I love that. I always say like the kind of love I'm looking for brings out like my inner child, where my inner child
Yeah. I'm
just
Yes.
trying to live
will.
my soft girl era.
That part.
Me
That part.
too.
I would love to fold like a lawn chair. You know the old school lawn chair. You act right, I will fold for real.
All right, Miss Gwen. So you tell us what is the type of love you're looking for, feel like on a normal day for you?
So at this next chapter, so I just turned 60 in February, and I'm definitely turning the chapter, right? My 50s was full of loss, right? So the 60s that looks like to me is a life partner, someone to grow old with. I'm that inner child is me, right? He got to be able to. He may not be able to, carry me over the threshold, but I'm the one. Put a nice pillow in that wheelbarrow, girl. We would do this thing because we going over that threshold together, whether it's a wheelbarrow or you carrying me. Right. And so I'm just looking for someone that, the byproduct of grief for me is overthinking. Right. And I'm in politics. I'm always thinking of and that sometimes consumes me. So I want someone that will balance me because he knows I mean well, but he knows I'm a doer. So I'm looking for someone that gets to know me. And flowers, I want flowers. Bowling and flowers. You take me bowling on the first date, listen, we going on the second one.
I
Right.
love
And then
that.
for
Bowling and
flowers,
flowers.
yes, but I definitely Shirley Caesar says, give me flowers while I'm living. And see,
Yes.
I've seen loss in a way I never wanted to see. So flowers has a different meaning for me.
Hmm.
So I want a man who understands the diversity of flowers. I don't care if he pull it from the dandelions. He said, baby, this is all I can get to today. But that means you were thinking about me and pulling up those weeds, and I'll take them dandelions. Because we
I
ain't got
love
them in the yard no more.
it. I love
Mhm.
it. What about you, Miss Tommy?
Well, what I'm looking for is I just want someone that's going to be real with me as
Mm,
well as I am with them because I'm a realist and that's all I want. And cause I want them when I hear their name, it may not be them, but my heart pitter patters because I think it is them. So I want their name to bust through my chest in the middle of the day when somebody say, hey, there's XYZ. And I'm thinking, hey, that's my XYZ. So that's what I want. I want someone that makes my heart pitter patter.
Oh,
love it.
yes. There
I
go
love
those
it.
Harlequins. Don't take me down the Harlequin because I've been looking for the pitter patter thoughts.
What about you, DJ Melanie? What is the love that you're looking for feel like on a normal day?
On a Tuesday. So definitely consideration, right?
Hmm.
Um, Reciprocation. If I'm doing for you, do it for me. If you see a need, fill the need. I'm gonna give it right back to you. Someone who's very much like me, like enjoys the same activities. I don't want to be stuck watching, sharing the remote with you, and you make me watch dumb stuff. Talking about you'll like it. No, no, I don't. Um, so like let's do something fun. Let's watch video games. Let's go karaoke. Let's do Bible study. Let's enjoy each other's company and also be there for each other. And someone who loves my smile. So whether he's being goofy with me or like just, giving me flowers or whatever, that you just love to see me smile so much that you just want to keep it on my face till my cheeks hurt.
Right, like
That's
it's
what
his
I want.
job. I love it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hey, sis. Okay.
I love it.
Yep.
A lot of the times in this online discourse, especially when it comes to relationships, I feel like there's a message that women, particularly women of color, Black women specifically, that our standards are too high, that we have too long of a list of, 6 foot tall, six figures, 6 inches, all these things that we're told that we're just too demanding. What are some of but I don't believe that. The women that I speak with, the women that I surround myself with are asking for very, very reasonable and sometimes I think too reasonable things. It's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that's too high or too unattainable. But I'm curious for you ladies, what are, some of your non-negotiables and what type of love are you no longer available for? And we can go right back to you, Melanie, and start with you and go back around the other way.
Um, I would have to say love that hurts. I'm no longer there for physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. That is not love, not even a little bit. That's what I've learned. So, yeah, it may have felt familiar to me in the past, but I learned what love is now. I learned from the Bible, I learned from my own journey, and I'm not here for it anymore. You might have your excuses, oh, your upbringing, your last relationship, everything you want to project onto me. I'm good. You could go that way with that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Love should not hurt. And that's
Right.
absolutely not.
Right.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And too many people don't know how to love.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, go figure it out and then come back.
Right.
If I give you a
Right.
chance again, which I probably won't.
Right. Right. Absolutely. What about you, Miss Marcia? What are some of your non-negotiables and what type of love are you no longer available for?
No longer available for controlling. Like I I've not that I'm at that stage. I've been at the stage where I want someone that leads. I've always wanted someone who leads.
Yes.
Because in my everyday life, I'm always in control. I'm bossing people around, you know. So when I come home, I don't want to do that. I'm literally trying to live in my soft girl era. Um, so, but some people, some men, I won't say people, some men mistake leading as controlling. And I was so intent on falling back and allowing a man to be a man and not trying to be, no longer trying to be this alpha female, that he took my falling back as weakness and it turned into controlling. I felt it turned into controlling. He may not have felt that way. Um, so I'm no longer, I know now to identify it and speak up about it. And there's a difference between controlling and leading. And I'm looking for a leader, not someone to raise me. I'm grown. Um, but they have to be following God in order to lead me. And that's
That,
where I messed up. You know what
that
I
part.
mean?
Mhm.
Yep, that part.
So yeah, so that's a non-negotiable.
Thank you for sharing that. Miss Gwen, what about you? What are you no longer available for as it comes to love, and what are some of your non-negotiables?
So number one, I love what we're talking about. Number one, God is to me a non-negotiable, right? Because if you know God, and I'm not talking about that, you can quote some scriptures, right? Where you're practicing, you can see it by the fruits. And it matters because we live in a very superficial world, right? Where beauty is altered and you understand just beauty, right? So we're very superficial. So I'm looking for someone that's disciplined because and because I won't negotiate. Um, it's one thing to admire something pretty, but I've seen people that stop. I've been with people. I said, "Why are you staring?" Number one, that's kind of creepy, and you're with me. You understand? So come on, if you don't have self discipline to even control your eyes, because you don't want to make someone uncomfortable, right? And so if you don't have that discipline, then I got to wonder your walk with God because most of it is serving God is about discipline, right? Because we're in a world of desires and things like that. So for me, and I'm not your mama. I think everyone I met, they were looking for mama, but I blame me for that because no one could have done what I didn't allow, right? And so I'm looking for a leader because I lead every day in the community.
Okay.
I fight battles for you know what I mean against injustice. So I lead where I need to lead, and I don't negotiate when it comes to certain things. So I'm looking for a man that leads. And number one, you got to be truthful. You got to be truthful, even if it hurts. I always say this. Listen, even if you think it will hurt me, be truthful. Because if I find out any other kind of way, when you could have controlled the narrative, we could have worked through it, then I'm thinking you got secrets and you got another life, and we're just not doing that. We just not doing that. So honesty, I'm not negotiating that. Never gonna negotiate it. Integrity, practice what you preach. If you move in different than what you're saying to me, then I'm just not the one for you. Because in my generation, we came from a place when you see something, you know what I mean? What happens in the house, stay in the house. And we already see how many of us in counseling with that. So yeah, I want people to use their words and be honest. Because I'm always going to be honest, and then but I try to do it respectfully. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? And in the spirit, and
Exactly.
in the spirit that you're saying it, what's your intent behind it? Because God doesn't tell you to say things to cut, right? He is the author of taking care of business, not us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's so important. The way that you say something, the way that your intention behind it. I always say you can tell me anything, you can correct me in any type of way, but you have to have that foundation of trust, that I can trust you and I can trust that you have my best interest at heart. So when you tell me something, I'm going to listen and not take it as you're trying to control me or, be critical in a negative way. So that's really important. What about you, Miss Tommy? What type of love are you no longer available for? And what are some of your non-negotiables?
Well, my non-negotiables is someone treating me like I'm a kid because I'm about to be 62 years old. I've had my own two kids. And so I'm not looking to be ordered around. I'm not looking to be your punching bag because I don't go for the hitting. I don't even go for the spanking as a a sexual
As
gesture.
a king,
Don't hit me.
yeah.
Me
So
either.
do not hit me because I'm just being honest. I'm
Like they
not
want to
for
choke
it.
you, all this old stuff you see on.
No, you're not choking on me. You're not, because I'm going to do 20 to life. Sorry. I'm not I'm not I'm not playing with my life. I'm not playing with anyone else's life. I just want to be taken as who I am. I want to be treated as so as I treat them. I want respect is what I want. I agree with a lot of things that Gwen was saying. Because that is true. When you allow people to treat you one way, then they will continue. So you got to start off and you got to set your own direction in the life that you want to live and with whom you want to live it with. If you get someone that likes to be a puncher bag on somebody, you're going to get punched all the time. I'm not for that. I want somebody to love me for who I am because I am lovable.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
I
And
know
we
that's
your
right.
sisters.
I know
Hmm.
that's
And we
right.
your sisters. We will roll up. You send us a bat signal. We will be there acting up like that.
that's because you can't live life like there's no tomorrow because there is. There's a tomorrow after tomorrow.
Right,
Every day there's a tomorrow.
right.
So we got to live life and accept the things that we want and not accept things that we don't want. Just to have a man in your life is just not real for me.
Yeah, no,
So
I think we're in a time now, unlike any other before where, women are more financially secure, socially, we're navigating spaces that we've never had before. And so being in a relationship out of survival is no longer the norm for many, many women. And so it's less about, oh, I need you to, pay bills to be able to, get a career or what have you, and more about this person aligned to the type of life that I'm creating. And so I think that's a beautiful thing for women because we're, less and less finding ourselves in situations that we probably wouldn't otherwise be in if it weren't but for, having to rely on somebody for survival. So it puts us
right,
in a position to
exactly.
make better decisions and decisions that are more compatible to who we are and what we want for our life. So it's a good.
But I think that, because us as women, we settle, but I'm gonna flip the side a little bit because us as women too sometimes make the relationship bad
Yeah.
because we
Oh
can be
yes.
we can become abusers and disrespectful with our mouths because our tongue
Yeah.
cuts.
Yeah.
So we gotta be real careful on how we treat that man.
Yes,
So
absolutely. I think
I mean, we talking about what we feel as women, but we have to think about what the man feel too, because there's better men out there as well.
oh
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
we
that's
we got
definitely
to
a thing.
we got to prune whatever we get ourselves into. We got to see exactly where it's going. Don't
Mhm.
force it if it don't fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's beautiful that we're going to be having a males panel next month as well to get, the perspective of men and their experiences and things that they're looking for and things that they have gone through in relationships and what they've grown from and where they are now for sure. Because yeah, there's stories on both sides of this thing. And it takes two healthy people to come together to be able to create a healthy relationship.
Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we'll
I
have
was
more time before we get into our break. So I was gonna, I'm sorry, was somebody going to go?
Oh
I
yeah, I
didn't.
was just gonna say like something that I established in the beginning. It's kind of like my motto in a relationship is I take whatever energy you give me and I multiply it times 3.
Mhm.
So yeah, if
Yeah.
you're gonna bring me that aggression, it is 20 to life. And that's in my dating profile. Like, I don't know why people hate me up. It says it in my profile. We're dead or in jail if you are physically violent. But that's my motto. I'll take whatever you give me and I'll multiply it times 3. You in my 3 feet with that rah-rah, you might get headbutted. I don't know. But it's a warning.
Hey, at least you did give them a warning, so
That
there's
part.
And you
that.
can never say
There's
they
that.
weren't warned.
Exactly. So before we get to our break in 15 minutes, I'm going to ask each lady, let's pretend that your future lover is watching this. Give no longer than a minute, just a 1 minute kind of commercial about who you are as a woman and why a man would be so lucky to be in a relationship with you. And we'll start with you, Melanie, because you're on the screen. At least you're on my screen.
Oh, let's see. First of all, you're taking too long. And the longer you take, the more bitter I might become. So like hurry up. But once you do find me, I'm gonna make you laugh. I'm gonna cook for you. I'm gonna open you up to new experiences and I'm gonna be open to whatever you want to show me in life. I'm down to do whatever at least once in the name of fun. I'm going to pray with you during the difficult times, and I hope you are receptive to that. That's kind of like a prerequisite that we find that foundation and based on God and find out what those principles and those values are. And that, yeah, if we're fighting, we know that there is something that wants us to fight and we pray our way through it. And I can cook really good Puerto Rican food and I'll make you laugh a lot.
Thank
But
you, Mel.
hurry up.
Thank you.
Taking so long.
Let's kick it over to you, Miss Marcia. Tell your dear future lover who you are, what you're about, and why he would be so happy and so lucky to be with you.
So he would be lucky to be with me because I'm a whole vibe, just a vibe. Um, I'm open to new adventures. Let's rent an RV and go on the road. Um, I don't do drama. I don't do arguing. So when you come home to me, you'll be coming home to peace because I don't need the drama in my life. I've had a lot happen in the last I'll say 5 years. So we don't need drama. Not only will I pray with you, but I'll pray for you, you know. And even though I won't cook or don't like to cook, I know great restaurants, but I'm just down for, I don't want to say I'm down for anything because I'm not hanging from a side of a mountain or anything like that. But most things I'm open to. I have an open mind. I keep an open mind. And so, yeah, I'm a vibe.
Mhm.
Awesome. Miss Gwen, what about you?
Well, I would say, listen, I'm gonna be your not so little riding hood, and I just want you to be my big bad wolf. We ain't gonna play house, and we ain't gonna do any of that. But I'm a loyal person. I'm spontaneous. You know, I'm willing to pull out a cookbook to figure it out, to figure out a dish you like. I'm moving from loving hard to learning how to love well, and I don't play about mine. So you treat I like the young lady said, I can match your energy. So if you got love to give, I got lots of love to give, and I'm talking agape love as well as whatever the future holds. So let's take that journey together. You'll be my bad wolf. Call me your not so little Red Riding Hood.
I love that. And last but certainly not least, Miss Tommy, what about you?
Well, for me, he gets his queen as I get my king. So I'm not going to say a lot about it. It's the way we treat each other is what's going to connect. So I can't speak on it. I can show it.
You said I can show
That,
you better than I can tell you. I love it. I love it.
exactly.
Well, we are to our, first kind of intermission here. gonna take a little bit of break so folks can go to the bathroom and, freshen up or whatever you need to do. I think we're gonna play some music during the intermission and we'll be back. So thank you to everybody who's been tuning in so far. Make sure you hold your questions because we're gonna open it up to the audience to ask some questions of the ladies at the end of our session. But we'll see you back in about 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Oh, Lord.
All right. All right, ladies, everybody back in position?
Yes.
All right, I grabbed a little snack. I was so hungry. All right,
was
so
your
we're
what?
back.
Hmm?
We're back. We're back to round out this beautiful panel with these lovely ladies and learning, getting all up in your business and learning all about your love life and what you're looking for. So I'm curious, ladies, we talked a lot about how you want to feel in your next loving relationship, the things that you're no longer available for, what you're learning and how you're growing and evolving into the woman that you are. But let's talk a little bit about this gentleman. What does he look like? What is he doing? Who is he at his core? Who is the man that will ultimately win your heart? Let's start with you, Miss Gwen.
So again, my Harlequin days of looking for the knight in shining armor, tall, dark, and handsome, that's not my prerequisite. I want a good person. And what I mean by that, yes, we have an aesthetic, right? So, I mean, please, we're a superficial world, so easy on the eyes. But but to me, it's not in, and my counselor gets on me about that. It's not about even weight, right? Because we can get healthy together, right? So I'm looking for someone that sees me, right? And so I don't have to, how I'm dressed up here tonight, and I'm not really dressed up, do I have to be that person every day? So Mr. Right is someone that sees me, definitely is a leader. And I'm working, and again, I'm not into looks per se, but again, it has to be easy on the eyes. I'm just looking for a God-fearing man, um, that wants to grow old together. And we can work, and we can work the middle. We can work the middle.
You're muted.
Oh,
Thank you. What about you, Miss Marcia? Who is this man? Character wise, look wise, what is he doing? Who is
Um,
he?
I don't think I have a look. I usually like because I still wear 5 inch heels. So I'm 5'5" and I wear 5 inch heels. So I need taller than me when I put my shoes on. Um, and when I say I wear 5 inch heels, I still believe in when I go out, even after I had been married for a few years, we still dated. So when I go out and date, I'm dressing up, unless we just, not going anywhere special. But the way I start is the way I'm going to continue, consistency. So I'd like him to be taller than me. Um, he has to make me laugh. Like we have to be able to laugh. He has to not take himself so seriously that, everything has to be, buttoned up and I can't do that because I'm goofy. He has to be a leader, but the right type of leader, not controlling, but when you feel there's a problem, I I want him to be able to know that he should go to God before he comes and talks to me and he, come to me crazy because he's already talked to God about it.
right,
Um, but I don't want to have to tell you to do that. I
right.
want you to know to do that. Um, yeah, I'm pretty easygoing and fluid in the rest of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he has to know the scripture, but you need to know a little bit of something, because, and then again, that's you going to God.
Right.
Um, but yeah, just you have to be able to make me laugh. You have to be transparent. I've learned the hard way that there's a difference between transparency and honesty.
Yes.
So transparent means someone at work is hitting on you and passed you her phone number. You came home and told me. Honesty is I found the number in your pocket and you said, "Oh yeah." So yeah, you're being honest, but transparent is better because you would have came and told me before I had to find the number. And now, because I'm an overthinker, I'm always thinking something else is going on. Um, so you have to be able to be transparent, not take yourself so serious, be able to laugh, and be willing to grow. Like we're continuing even in our older age. I'm still learning things. I went to a financial seminar yesterday. Be able to grow with me. You go and come back and teach me. I go, I come back and teach you, but we should be able to grow together.
Yeah.
I
Growth
love that.
mindset is huge.
Uh,
That's a
yeah,
huge.
I love that you said that, sis. And that transparency and honesty
Mm-hmm.
is key. But
Right.
I have to, but someone pushed back on me on that, right? So I said that to them. They weren't transparent. They said, but sometimes you go to 1,000 so quick. So we also want to make sure that, and again, not saying don't be transparent, but
Mm-hmm.
creating the safe space so that they can be.
Absolutely.
Right. And because I noticed that when he said that, so I reevaluated and I do go
Mm-hmm.
to 1,000 because I've been through
Right.
some, I give it an excuse, but I know that I go through 1,000. So I own
Right.
it. And then when he said that, then I was conscious of it, you know, because I never want someone to be, it's like your children. You never want them to
Absolutely.
be afraid to come to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
So I
can
had
only
to,
correct what you bring to me. If you don't tell me that I don't bring things to you because you go to 1,000, then I'm not going to know.
that
But
part.
once you tell me, and I think when you're the same, once you tell me, I'm intentional on trying to correct the behavior.
Very good. Okay. Love this.
What about you, Miss Tommy? Who is this man that will ultimately win your heart? Who is he?
That man that loved to smile and show his teeth, because I keep mine showing at all times. I love to smile. I have a heart of gold. So I need this man to be compassionate, loving, touchy feely. I need him to know who I am
Mm.
and be willing to learn me. So that's what I need.
Beautiful. And what about you, DJ Melanie? Who's this man?
Um, he is definitely God-fearing. I am a laying on of hands type prayer for people. I would adore to have my partner right there with me, praying for someone's healing, praying for someone's salvation, just praying for people. That type of faith where we don't worry because we know it's going to be okay. So just that faith, even though it can feel like leaps of faith sometimes, just be so and not question why I am the way that I am. It's you need to match my faith. What he looks like physically, I'm not too much in the 6'2", 6'4". Like, no, I get scared. We need to be eye level. I need to know I can take you if you ever really go there with me. But I'm trying to
Oh,
fix that. You know what I mean? I'm working on that.
yeah, yep,
But
yep.
a little nerdy, because I'm a little
Mhm.
nerdy. Definitely someone who just likes to do the things that I like to do. A family man, because I'm big on family. So he needs to understand that my mom and my kids, we are a package deal. We don't all live together, but still, like they are very much, we got to go all together. You know what I mean? Um, what else? He's funny because I'm usually the one making them laugh. Make me laugh. My God. None of them is just like, I'm just going to sit here and make you laugh for 2 hours. And it's like, can you reciprocate the energy? No, I haven't found one yet. But yeah, so what he looks like, I'm open to all kinds of different, whoever comes my way. But like I said, God-fearing, respectful, financially stable, because I'm an earner. So match that. Um, and yeah, he has to just be, he has, see, I've run into this problem where I've been told you don't let a man be a man, right? But there's a way to lead me without overpowering, overbearing,
Yeah.
using your masculinity to kind of make me back down or nothing. That's just going to trigger aggression for me. So you need to know, like what y'all said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Watch how you talk to me. Be
Talk to me
respectful.
nice, but
That
don't talk
part.
to me twice.
Mm.
Exactly, exactly. And that's just so hard to find. Needle on a haystack. So yeah.
All right. Now, where are we going with this, this beautiful leader, this man who talks sweet, who smiles with all all his real teeth? Where is he taking you, Miss Tommy? Where was your ideal first date be with this gentleman?
Well, my ideal first date would be a walk in the park
Hmm.
because I'm scared of
Okay.
bugs.
Getting your Jill
So
Scott
I need
on.
to see what his reaction would be when I jump on him.
Just when he thought
No,
it
I'm
was
just
easy, you putting him to a test.
Mhm.
That's
yes,
hilarious.
Combat.
because I don't like I love nice things. but I can't expect everyone to be financially where the things that I like. So working together, we can gain that.
Right.
But I need to know exactly where you are. So I think walking in the park, starting off and seeing if I jump on his back, is he going to run with me on his back or is he going to roll over?
You in front of them.
If I'm not in front of him.
I like that strategy. I think there's something to that. I like it. I like it.
Yes, because it's a test of faith when you walk when you out in the atmosphere with
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you in a movie, you're sitting there quiet, you're digging in popcorn. I don't even know if you washed your hand when you came out the bathroom. But we hope that you did. But I think out in the park would be nice. And let's sit down on the ground and let's have some lunch in the park.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. Because I know how to spend your money if I need to.
Right.
Let's just be straight up. But
Yeah.
I got my own to spend, so I don't need yours. I just need you to bring yours with you when we come together.
Yeah. No, I think
Basically.
I think that's
Being
beautiful.
straight up. Because men look for women to support them, but women also look for men to support. It doesn't have to be financially, but the finance automatically come aboard when you do that. So uh, just walking in the park and talking will see exactly where a person's mind is.
Yeah.
And if he too scary, let the brother go. Because you're not gonna be my savior. You're not gonna save me from nothing. If you're not gonna save me from the bug,
Right. Right.
you sure not gonna save
That's
me
funny.
from any other elements out there.
Right.
So let's start with the bugs first.
There you go. There you go.
And
It's a
if you
good
don't feel
idea.
safe, and that's a real thing, right? When women talk about men, we talk about safety, but
Mhm.
that's the real thing, right? It's not just that you're going to, jump in front of a stray bullet. You know what I mean? But there's
Right.
that safety element there that
Exactly.
whatever I say, I'm good. I'm safe to say it, right?
Right.
If I may need some alone time, right? It's okay. You're
Yeah.
not going to internalize that to mean
Right.
something
Right.
and know
Right.
me
Right.
enough to say, listen, I know she overthinking, so I'm gonna have to take her somewhere
Yeah.
because she's about to
Right.
go down. So know me enough to know because if I'm willing to learn
Exactly.
myself and own mine, then I want you to be there. And that's my only thing. I've met men who talk man.
Mm.
But a man
Yeah.
is a man. You don't, there's something, when you're a man, you're a man. I don't know how you talk,
What you
man.
say? When
I'm
you a
a man.
man,
One
be a
person said to me,
man.
I'm a man. I said, well, I got to go because if you got to tell me you a man, I got to run. What is you saying right now? I
Right.
didn't
Exactly.
understand it, right? But then I had to go back to him because, because again, he is a man, he's a brother, and I didn't want him to intern. But he threw me off for that. Because who's saying I'm a man? So I appreciate what you're saying. I want to feel safe, but not just
E-
that physical safe, right? That mental safe,
Exactly.
that
That
Yeah.
mental
emotional
Emotional.
phase.
safe.
Emotional
Right?
Exactly.
safety. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Exactly.
so important. And one of the things I love about a simple date without all the, pomp and circumstance is that it allows you to really focus in on how you feel in the moment. Because it's very easy
Exactly.
to deceive
Yes.
with, a fancy dinner or, getting on a plane and going somewhere. Like it's very easy to get caught up in what things look like and get away from what it feels like. So something I started doing myself is going for more simpler dates and really checking in with myself after each date about how I felt in that
So,
person's presence. I
exactly.
feel
Right.
safe,
Exactly.
if I felt calm, if I felt at ease, that tells you a lot about,
A
the
person.
Hmm.
energy in the
Right.
person's energy
Exactly.
and how you guys are compatible. Because yeah, you can get very much swept off your feet with all the, luxurious things. And you'd be like, geez, I don't
Exactly.
know anything about how this person makes me feel. So I do love that. So what
Mm.
about you, Ms. Gwen? Where are you going on your first ideal date? What are you doing with this gentleman?
Free dateline. I went bowling. There is something about bowling that doesn't allow me, right? Because then I didn't, because it's competitive, and I like to talk junk, right? They say,
Yes,
"Girl,
yes.
I said I'll go baseball." No, I can't hit a ball, but you'll never know that because I got that game. Boy, I can let you think, what? Bring it, right? But it's that energy and to see them, and just to see if they're comfortable, right? I love
Yeah.
it'll allow me the chance to watch them in their jeans, how they walk up, say, "Oh, okay, he got a look walk, he gonna look good in them jeans," and you know what I'm saying? If he get a gutter, if I get a gutter, or just how we interact. So bowling and every day, if you Google me, it says if you ain't willing to bowl, and and 'cause I just like this bonding piece, and also I get my little weight going on. So I use bowling to to burn some carbs, tone up the arms and everything. But for me, bowling there is something about it, how you interact with people. Like if someone bump you, the whole vibe.
Mhm.
Bowling just brings a vibe for me. And then I found a place to have old school too. Are you jamming when you going up? I might be doing Nita Baker singing to you all the way to the pole. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, I
Right.
love
So
that.
so that is me. And I have yet to, this is how I know I compromise. And one thing when you asked earlier about what you're not settling. I'm not settling. I've settled for the last several years. Here I am supposed to be growing and everything, but I settled and did things that I wasn't even comfortable doing. Not anything violent or anything, because I don't know. I wanted to be felt. I don't know. Like I said, I was going through that moment. So I accepted things I would not accept. And so one thing of settling, I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And I found
Yeah.
myself doing that, saying, it's okay. We don't have to go, knowing I want to go. And if you
Yeah.
don't want to reciprocate something as bowling, I mean, if you got a bad rotor and everything, we'll figure it all out.
You better do
Right.
like
But
with the two hands. You better do the two hand
I'm
scoop.
trying to say, because if you can't do a bowling, how you going to hold me? Because you
Right.
carried me across the threshold. I don't know what you thinking.
Exactly. And I'm so happy that you said that because I think you said it before earlier, it's not about somebody being bad or a bad man. It's just like some things are just not aligned, some things are just not aligned for your life. And you have to be confident enough and know that you are worth getting what is in alignment with your life and nothing that deviates from it. It's just not for you. And that's okay. Bowling is so simple. And look at just how happy you are talking about bowling. If I were your man, I want to make sure every week we are going bowling to keep that smile on your face. Like it's very simple. It's very
Mhm.
simple.
And
So
I'll stick
yeah,
them jeans up. I may have to lay on the floor and put them jeans on too, so you can watch me while I bowl in the gutter too.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. What about you, Miss Marcia? Where are you going? What are you doing on this first ideal date?
We're gonna go get ice cream and sit down by the water.
Oh, that's
There's
nice.
something about the water that's just so relaxing for me. And again, it's like what you were saying about I want to see the vibe. I want, you know what I'm saying? Um, I went on a date one time and it was dinner and we sat there for 6 hours at the table just talking. And it was great, but I'm again being an overthinker. I kept saying they're going to kick us out. We got to go. Come on. And it's like calm down. And it was back to what Gwen was saying about feeling safe because he said, "Calm down. We're going to be fine. They're not going to kick." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I think my ideal date would just be to get ice cream, sit by the water, listen to the water, and talk because I have to see if we're aligned.
That's
And if
right.
we're not aligned, if we're not looking for the same things, like I'm not looking to stay in Connecticut, I'm looking to move out of state by next year. If we're not aligned, it's not that you're a bad guy, you're just not the guy for me.
Exactly. That's it. And that's okay. That is okay. What about you, Melanie? What's your ideal first date with this gentleman that makes you laugh?
So has to be someplace public. I'm really big on safety. And I think I mentioned earlier, like you got to pass a whole background check. Don't worry about how I got your last name. I just got it. And I'm going to make sure that, you have a clean criminal record in all 50 states. And as far as safety, I know Puerto Rican judo. Judo know what I got on me, but I make myself feel safe. So it needs to be public, right? So it could be an arcade. I'm very competitive. Yeah, I talk junk just like you, Gwen. Like, I spank you in this. I spank you in that. Go ahead and play me if you want to get spanked. So I'm very much that. And then I lose. And then I pout. I'm a little sore loser. So like arcade, flea market. I have like an 89-year-old woman that lives inside of me and she wins a lot. Even when by how I dress, sometimes they'd be like, that's an old lady shirt. I'm like, that's okay. She likes it. Festivals. I like Renaissance festivals. If you're gonna take me to I can go to coffee. I don't mind because I don't have that expectation of it's our first date. Spend all this money on me.
Right.
But if you take me somewhere to eat, I'm gonna order what I want. If like I wouldn't want to put it on your budget, but that's how I eat when I go out. I'm not about to. You want to split an appetizer? No. I'll pay for my stuff. You worry about yours. But by the end of the day, if you feel like it was worth it, pay for my food by all means. But it has to be something ethnic restaurant. But ideally, I think it's best to be some kind of activity.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
not where we're alone. Again, I might cut you if I feel unsafe. Just saying.
All right, we're gonna leave the knives at home.
Oh, there we go.
But public
My
space.
birthright. Puerto Rican judo. You don't know if I got my knife. Let me stop. Let me stop. I'm so aggressive. It's dark side for a reason. That's all I gotta say. It's like a
It's
warning.
all right.
Why do they call you
know,
dark side? You don't want to know.
we know it's all in jest, and you have a beautiful
Right.
sense of humor. You got to be able to laugh. There's so much craziness going on in the world right now. Oh my goodness.
That part.
Yes.
And that part.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
that person even mad just to that point, right? We are in a different time, right? And so, like for this chapter to me, like if I was in my 20s or 30s and you're talking about dating and marriage, right? But I'm at 60. And so, I want to birth a baby, not a literal one, right? Not the one I'm talking about. We may, to have a joint venture together, right? And we can grow together. And I think we all need to talk about adult children, right? And so, and that matters in dating, right? Especially if you come to close knit families who are very protective, and if you got minor children, like I didn't date when I was minor. I got divorced, and me and him are close. I got married because of my mama, because she said I was getting old. I know how I got married, right? But he was good for my younger children. And so, because they didn't have a father in their life. So he was a role model to the boys, right? And then my girl, she gravitated to her dad. So I think we, even when we talk about what we're looking for, family dynamics matter
oh yeah, big
because
time.
you need to feel safe. In other words, no, what you're not gonna do is disrespect my mates. There's a concern, you bring it to me. You understand? And then
Mm-hmm.
I've had incidents where the young lady. I mean, we cool. We have our moments, but me trying to fit in, and she was like, "Oh, you getting too comfortable here." And I was like, "Okay, Gwen, deep breath, count to 10, 20, because my kids know how. You know what I'm saying? I catch that case for disrespect all day because if I disrespect you, you understand I'm not doing it. A child or adults, right?
Yeah.
I respect animals. So we're not gonna do that. But then I was upset with him because he didn't make me feel safe because he should have spoke to his daughter. I was invited there. I'm seeing you. You invited me there. You understand? And so he didn't make me feel safe because that means he wasn't even strong enough. I said, I don't want no man who can't even handle their household. Right.
Exactly.
And so,
Right.
right, because you have to be able to, just like my people can't say anything to you because you my mate. If we get married, we separate from the family. That's the word of God. You understand? So I need a man who also knows lanes, knows boundaries, knows, well, I'm your girl, your children, or you know what I mean? Those your children. You understand? If you got parents, we respect elderly. If you don't treat your parents right, don't even look my way. Because there are
Mm-mm.
walking history books, right? You able to be in this house because I'm sure they leaving it to you. So listen, we're not going to get amnesia all of a sudden in how we treat people. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. I forgot to put that on there. But I've had some experiences with adult kids, you know what I mean? And when people show you who they are, I need to learn to believe them.
Yes.
And then so that's why I don't retired the Harlequin books because you understand that part.
I get it. I get it. We talked a lot about, character, and we know, Melanie, you're running a full 5-point background check before you even go on a
No
date with
background
them.
check, criminal.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
trust me, I know what you're talking about. But have any of you ladies ever met somebody that did look good on paper, but once you got into their company, maybe after the first couple of dates, it didn't feel right in your spirit? Like, have you ever had that experience, and what did it teach you about dating? And we'll start with you, Melanie.
Yeah. I mean, this person had a lot in common with me, was very financially stable, like well off. Um, the vibe was cool when we went on our dates. I think when I found out his affiliation with like a particular political party, that was the paper trail for me. I was very vocal and communicative and explained to him. I let him down lightly, like, listen, it tells me all I need to know about you in terms of not just like a political perspective, but like from you just being a human being. It's the spectrum is just completely opposite. And additionally, he wasn't a man of God. So it's like, yeah, you got all these positives, but those were two really big pieces for me to where I had to reject that. Something that could have been this and it could have been that and I could have gone there, I could have done this. But it's like, yeah, but I'm compromising at the end of the day. I'm settling for something that's huge. It's been a huge, and I told him I don't want someone's um like their mindset. I don't want to be disgusted by, what those, forget what the word was that I used with them, but you know what I mean, like ideals. I don't want to be disgusted by my partner's ideals, and our ideology is completely opposite. So I can't just, and then you're not a man of God? Ooh, child.
Yeah.
Unequally yoked.
Yeah.
That part. That part.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Hmm.
mhm.
Yeah. What
So
about you,
yeah.
Marcia? Have you ever had an experience with someone who, they looked to seem, perfect on paper or a good fit on paper, but once you got to know them a little more, it wasn't an alignment. Have you ever had that experience?
Um, I've dated where it wasn't an alignment, but it wasn't necessarily that they looked good on paper. It was just that they weren't in alignment, whether it was they didn't want to get married and I wanted to get married at the time, or we just weren't looking for the same things. I'm looking for exclusiveness and they weren't. So that type of thing, but nothing like what Melanie was talking. Yeah, no, not that they ever looked good on paper and didn't weren't the same in person. It was just as I got to know them and we're checking to see if these things line up that are important to both of us. They didn't.
Mm, right.
They just didn't.
All right. And what about you, Miss Gwen? Have you ever had that type of experience where maybe, it seemed like, yeah, he's good,
Well,
he's
I
good, he's
want to
good.
tell you, no, I never had that experience. But what's on paper? Like, yes, yes. And my problem is, and that's what my counselors were, a grief counselor, right? Because I see good. I've met firefighters, right? So you understand, come to find out there's alcoholism, right? I understand the dangers of the job, right? But the paper, yes. And I felt like I was their mama. You understand? Because they were being honest. They weren't being transparent, right? And so then, but because I wasn't in a good space, I wanted to believe it. Well, I apologize. I know you got, and I believe, I settled too much. I needed to be, that's why Miss DJ up there, trust me, I won't be, I want to look, you know what I'm saying? Minus the knives, but I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? I say that with love. But, and so, yeah, so I've met, people like that. And so even some, but most of them, I mean, 99.9 always call back because I know I'm a good person, right? And they say, you were nice to me. I'm like, you know what I mean? I helped them grow. You want to help with the resume? I don't mind that. I want that for my brothers. You understand? I know what it's like just based on historical being a black man in America. That is real, right? So I want to show up as the best version of me. Many of our men are broken, right? Mommy issues, right? Daddy issues, want to live up to the expectations of, I get that. But the problem is the fact that I'm talking like this is why I always lose. I'm always trying to fix something, make things better. I know you got problems, but you know what I mean? I want someone now that's do it. So yeah, so I've had that moment, but I've always extended grace because I've met amazing men. You can tell that they would be good people if they weren't broken, right? And so here I am being Mother Teresa. One person said to me, "You acting like Mother Teresa up here. I don't know where you think you at, young lady, but this is Mary Poppins." That's what he called me, Mary Poppins. He said, "You coming up here with this Mary Poppins up here, thinking the world is rosy." But I appreciate it for him because he said, "I need you to be safe out here." I mean, you know what I mean? So he was telling me, and he was saying, "I'm." I'm gonna school you because you up here being too green. And you're gonna find yourself in a situation. So I've always met people like that, and I thank God for that, right? So now when I go into something, whoever I meet, I look at the lessons. What are the lessons I need to learn? But more importantly, you can learn the lessons and still keep your boundaries in play. And
Absolutely.
that's the piece. That's where I'm at right now. So that's why I'm on Pop the Balloon CT.
What about you, Miss Tommy? Have you ever met somebody or had an experience with somebody, seemed great on paper, but once you started to get to know them a little bit better, wasn't really a good fit?
Yeah, I married one. My, this is, I've been married twice, 22 years with my first husband, and then I married again. I only stayed married a year and a half with my second husband. Um, when you say putting them on paper, my second husband was a pastor of a church.
No,
And boy, you can get some false information on paper. So I just say for all of us, just be careful what we sign up for,
right.
because you may not get what you sign up for.
That
Because I
part.
am Holy Ghost filled, I am saved, I'm by the Bible, I'm by the book, I'm honest, I love to have fun, so I'm not one of those stuck on stupid. Uh, I enjoy life. I have fun. I like going to the movies. I like dancing. I moved to Connecticut and had a bad accident. I broke my ankle off my foot, and the doctor asked me what did I want to do, and I told him I want to dance again.
Mm.
So I had a
Um,
good friend that was an ex-boyfriend that made sure that I was taken care of. And when I got healed, he took me dancing.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
I enjoyed I can dance my butt off now because my foot is healed. But the thing is, you don't want people to falsify information to you. You
Yeah,
That
want
part.
it to be
Right.
real. And
absolutely.
that's why I keep going back to the 13 years. Because people say, 13 years? Ooh, Lord, how did you do that? By prayer.
Mm.
I
Mm,
did that because I wanted to be guided and led in the right direction. And I seek God before I seek anything,
mm.
especially man,
Yeah.
because I need to make sure that He gives me a God fearing man. And He
Amen.
puts that key.
Mm.
So that's why I say my king, because my king is going to be a God fearing man with a
Let's
big smile
talk.
on his face.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Remember
Amen.
that
so
song? You make me feel like dancing. I want to dance the
don't
night
dance the
away.
night away.
Who sing that? You make me feel.
I don't know. Remember who sang that? I ain't that
Who's a
old.
Googler? The young people Google. Who's the young people? They got to Google. The lawyer, the host, the lawyer. I'm sure she
Right.
just 2 seconds. She done got the
Exactly.
word.
But we
Mhm.
have to. We do have to be careful on our
Yes.
choices and just don't settle because we're lonely.
Yeah.
And that settling is
Sis, that
it's
part.
not good. It's just
Dangerous
that
game.
part. It's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
And so if you want love, then wait until God send you love and don't
Yep.
just jump to anything that's walking, especially in some blue jeans.
I
Cause,
know
Yeah.
that's right.
cause them
Holding the
brothers be
ball,
looking
man.
good in them blue
That
jeans.
part.
And my whole thing right now is like being love and surrounding yourself with people that you know really love you. So that way,
Yes,
anytime something comes into your life that feels off from that, you can
yes,
quickly recognize it and you know that it's
it,
not for you. You know, love yourself
exactly.
so well, create a beautiful life so that anybody coming in has to match it or exceed it.
Right.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You just
exactly.
said everything I was thinking.
Yeah.
They
And
got to
that's
love
being
me as much as I love me.
Yeah.
right.
So,
And
yeah.
that's being in tune with God, though, right? So if you think about just
Yes,
what you just
yes,
said
yes,
there, right? Because,
yes,
that's what I needed to learn again over the last several years to trust my gut. We know it
Mhm.
as the
yes.
Spirit of God,
That,
right? But when you know
exactly.
what I mean? But as you walk in it, it's that instinct. And this, the
That
problem I had
instinct,
with me that I
yes.
was working with, for forgiving myself, is I knew, right?
Right.
But that to your point, but I was something in me was just I don't know what it was about the world that I was like I can fix it. I can make it be what I needed it to be.
Yeah.
because
And
we as women are nurturers, so we
Mm-hmm.
that
try to
part.
fix everything. And we
Yes.
can't fix everything because something that's broken, it's gonna stay broken.
That
Yeah,
part.
So,
Yeah.
and
Until
because if
God
they
does it.
want
Right.
healing until God does it.
That's
exactly.
right.
So we got to get our healing from just him and not
Exactly.
from a man, a broken man, especially a broken man,
Oh,
because
I'm
there's
gonna
some
go
good
dancing
ones.
with you, young lady. Well, we're gonna hang out till we get
No,
to
I'm gonna go
broken life.
bowling with you because I'm an 8.5 year amateur pro bowler, so
Oh,
I'm
let me
Oh,
good.
pop.
wow.
All
Nice.
right now, watch out.
Listen, pop the balloon, the bowling style. CT.
Black women
Yes,
Come on
bowling.
now.
exactly. So
Love
look,
it.
we can do our first dates together at the bowling alley.
Sound like a plan to me.
There you
Sound like a
go.
plan.
Double
Yes,
dates. Double
yes.
dates. So for me, and this point of my like dating journey, even though I'm not really dating right now, but when I do decide to, it's all about having beautiful experiences. Like I'm not trying to have nothing that's not a beautiful, enjoying experience. So what is something that you are looking forward to experiencing in your next relationship or dating experience that you haven't experienced yet, but that you really are looking forward to experiencing in the future?
Is that for me?
Whoever wants to take it first.
Okay, I'll take it first then. I want to experience that when that man grabs my hand and hold my hand just sweats and I just slip right right through him because that's when you know for
Yes.
yourself. It ain't because his hand is sweaty and he been working hard. It's because that click 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 the match.
About that
So
action. I hear you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I want.
I
Because
want my
that eye
Harlequin
contact.
spirit. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead, Miss
Miss
Gwen.
Gwen.
I want that Harlequin feeling. I grew up on them, but like I know it's there, like that electricity, like you said, when your heart, right? I want someone that we can just wherever we are, we good. You understand?
Yes.
Whether we sitting in the car, whether we stuck in traffic, whether he says, "Baby, I had a bad day today," and I'll be like, "Well, leave your car in the parking lot. Say less. You already know your Bonnie is about to come get you, Clyde. Let's make this thing." You understand? I want
Yes.
that energy because whatever it is, like I said, I've experienced loss, and they're in a good place, and the world is crazy. So you
Yes.
have to make what you want, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
like people says,
Exactly.
"Oh, I don't have
Exactly.
time." No, when you want something, you will make
You
time.
make it.
And so
Yes.
I want someone that sees enough of me that's willing to make the time. Not make an excuse why you can't make the time, but make the time for
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
And the
And that's the
sky's the
thing.
limit on that.
When you said,
Yes.
Miss Gwen, like with the fantasies and with the romance novels, and while I do think it's unrealistic to expect somebody to just come in and be that, but once you find the person's for you and you share with them, like this is the type of love I want. I think someone will be willing to say, you know what, let's create that, because you can create whatever you want in your life, and your love life should be whatever you desire it to be, so long as both people are on the same page about it. So I do think that you can get that Harlequin love story, and I'm definitely gonna be wishing it for you.
Exactly. I may can't drop it like it's hot, but the ibuprofen to get me halfway there.
Right? You could drop it like it's
Halfway there.
lukewarm.
Okay.
What about you, Miss Marcia? What is something you're hoping to experience in your next love relationship or your dating experience?
Um, what I was gonna say I didn't have an answer for this, but so I'm sick of the Connecticut winters. So I'm moving North Carolina, South Carolina, like I said, in the next year. I would love to meet someone and we do that adventure together of moving to the state and learning our new location and finding out what's in the town. I would love to have a romance when I get ready to move, that we could do that experience together.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is
A
beautiful.
road trip.
I love
Can
that.
you imagine that? That just sounds so
I
cool. Y'all just
know. Just get in the car.
I
and
love
she
it.
done ran the background check, so we know he gonna be all right because
Right.
check him out.
Exactly. Call me if you
Yes.
need one. I'll hook you up. I'll
You
let
know,
you
I'm
know
calling you
everything.
Melanie.
Melanie's gonna be the go-to.
Yes.
And
What
I
about you,
want that for you.
Melanie?
That just sounds beautiful. Because the fact that you know you want to relocate,
Right.
right? So, and and it's that chapter of your life. Imagine having that moment with
And doing
someone.
it
That
together,
girl, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Well, I
Y'all pray
want that
for me.
Harlequin moment. We're gonna touch and agree right now.
Right?
Call it a day.
What about you, Melanie? What is something you're looking forward to experiencing that you haven't experienced yet in love?
Um, Marriage. I've never been married before. So I've yet to meet someone who makes me go, gee, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Like that hasn't happened for me yet. So I would hope, I would pray that that's what the next one would be. I mean, I am dating with intention. Someone who sees a need and fills a need because it won't come out of my mouth. I'm too much of a, independent woman, but I'm hoping to have that person in my life that like, look, I see something in her life that, and just that he's that puzzle piece for me. It's got to fit. I'm not going to force anything to fit. I'm not a firm believer in opposites attract. No, like I need you to just be my, I guess, what do they call it? Twin something, twin
Twin flame.
flame. Yeah, I'm looking for my twin flame that, and that my kids are grown. Like my youngest is just turned 18. I have yet to have a relationship where it's just me and him.
Right.
Like I said earlier, it's got to be my family included, but that's because on the weekends I'm doing stuff with my family. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you got to pay for everybody to do stuff. That's what I do, But at the end of the day, um, I have yet to experience that where it's just like us in the house by ourselves doing all kinds of stuff to each other.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we got to be married, girl. Because then when we get God will be
Be
pleased and we can act
loud.
up. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
When is ready. All right, ladies,
Yes.
we have a question or two, it's two questions from the audience. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
go over here and see. So the first question is, well, it's like a two-part. Do you date men with younger children? And what's the youngest the child can be, I guess, if yes, to that question. And I'll just start back where we left off. I'll start with you, Melanie, for that.
I'm not, because mine are all adult. I feel like when you date someone with younger children, you have restrictions. Like I said, I want to be loud now. I wanted it just to be us in the house. I'm okay if there's like a visitation thing, but not every weekend that we can't go anywhere or do anything because you're like, my kid comes first. Okay. I won't put myself in that type of predicament. I also found that it's very painful when the relationship ends, that you're separating from a younger child that you bonded
Yes.
with, that you bought all this stuff for, that, cries when they leave because they want to be with you because they like you better than their mom. So I don't want to, so I was the youngest. Neither do I want to deal with your troubled teenager. My kids are great. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that you got a disrespectful teenager. Like, so I'm open to someone with a teenager, but like a self-sufficient teenager. Yeah, they might need a ride somewhere, but ultimately, oh, I can't do this because I gotta be home with my kid.
Yeah,
No.
that's understandable. Hey, that's your standard. That's your standard.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Yeah.
you, Miss Marcia?
No.
She said no.
That's a
No,
no with
There you go.
children.
nope.
No.
That's easy. That's clear. I love
Yeah.
it.
My youngest is 27. And yeah, no. Um, I've dealt with people, and I think also when you get to 61, you know, if he got young kids, how old is he? You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
yeah, I get a lot of 40-year-old men that try and talk to me, but I'm like, my son is 33. No. So, no, they shouldn't have any young kids at 60. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Had
yeah.
that
Some of them do.
experience. Oh my goodness. Oh,
What
Because the
about you,
youngest I will
Gwen?
date is 50. Like
Mhm.
I'll do 10 years.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't get a lot of older men asking me out. I get 45, 48, and I'm just like, and they're like, well, you don't look 60. Well, what does 60 look like? I don't know
that
what it looks
part.
like, you know.
That part.
But I am 60, whether I look it or not. You're 40. No. And the 40-year-olds do have younger kids. And
They do.
no. And so they have younger kids and I have grandkids and they're gonna play together. No. Mm-mm.
Listen. Yeah, and I had a 50-some year. So you to your point,
Right.
I've met people who like the younger women in their 30s. You understand? And I don't play those games. Then talking about, oh yeah, something about you. I'm not about to be the babysitter. I think you want a babysitter because you mess with these little girls and these 30 some you, and you got little 50 with babies. I said, you want, and I said that he was willing to make, he talking about, I want to be your wife. I want you to be my wife and everything. I said, but you got babies. And then you got another baby on the way. And then one lady, listen, the days I am 60, I had a young lady call my phone. And she talked about, she says, I want you to know that you're not the only one. Baby, I am none of the one. This is the one he just
Man.
told me. You the same
She
age as
said,
my son in
count
heaven.
me out.
I said, and then she's like, well, I don't want to catch none. Baby, that's all on you. I had to become mama to this girl. You know what I'm saying? That's why ain't nobody want to date me. I got to be the mama, the aunt. I said, well, mama, you don't want to catch nothing. You better not open your legs if you know he is cheating and you got a baby in your belly. You catching these disease.
Mhm.
You understand? I couldn't even date the man. I gotta preach to the girlfriends. He got and he to go talking about we want to be married. He want a babysitter or a grandma. So I have learned my lesson. My two oldest ones are 25 and 30. They in heaven. My first, second born. I have a baby. He's 27. I got a 24-year-old daughter. We all got clear boundaries. We had to work through that. And so for me, it is going to be a no because I know I'm a nurturer. You understand? So I would do the most for the kids before over me. I would do the most. So I asked God to don't even put me in the situation because you know I'm up there buying Pampers. I'm not buying Pampers.
Yeah,
We
Miss
already
Gwen
have
is
to, we
a
might
Miss
have to
Gwen
buy
said it's a
toys.
no. It's a
Women
no.
may have to buy the bladder leaks. Well, I want to buy batters too. I can't. You're doing the most. No, no, no. So I have to say no.
I hear
And
you, Miss
don't.
Gwen. Miss Tommy, what about you?
I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
My
I
baby is
figured.
37 and my oldest is 44. I'm not doing kids. I
Yeah,
got grandkids and great grandkids. I'm not doing that.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. This
No.
is an easy one. Is there a race that you wouldn't date?
Chinese.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask people to explain. You just
Yeah.
state your
Thank you.
Miss Gwen.
My kid's great grandfather is Chinese, but the experience in the elevators, I'm not doing it.
I never thought, you know what I mean? I never thought about that because I've been approached, I'm in politics and stuff. So you pick people from all diverse. Even when I was in the military, right? People, I've just never, you know what I mean? People have approached me. I've just never dated outside of the race. You
Hmm.
understand? And so it's not that I would have a preference. I just have not done it though. I just have not done it. And so.
I've
Understood.
dated outside the race, but I've been to Las Vegas. I lived in California and I was 2 hours from Las Vegas.
Hmm.
I'm not. Chinese in the elevator is not a good smell. So,
Okay.
no. So
Miss
imagine
Marcia.
them in the bedroom with you for a lifetime. I'm not.
Oh
I'm not.
no.
Because I got to put my clothes in the cleaners all the time. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, oh.
Because, mm-mm.
You
Miss
know how you
Marcia.
got that mama. You know you got that aunt and that mama, right? You know there's always that mama and that aunt, and that's that aunt, right? My mama, let me tell you something. I have children. Listen, you always got that. I love you, sister. My mom, I think she's Archie Bunker and George Jefferson mixed together. And so my children are from, St. Lucia. It's like, and so she was like, I'm the only American in this house. Oh my, them your grandbabies, ma. You can't. So I say that to say everyone has a preference.
Yeah, because I mean, I have grandkids that's Hispanic, and I have nieces that's mixed with German. I just can't do the Chinese. I spent too much time in Las Vegas in the elevator.
No, we got it. We got it. Sorry. Miss Marcia, would you date outside of your race?
Um, yeah, your original question was what race you wouldn't date.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't
that was
think
a question from the audience, but I feel
yeah,
like
I
I
didn't
need
think I
to.
had one until Tommy came with the Asian and I was like, well,
Yeah.
okay.
She's
But
somebody aunt.
yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about a race that I wouldn't date.
Mhm.
Um I did date a guy a couple of months ago who was Iranian. And other than um Spanish or Dominican men, which I consider them to be black, um, I've never dated outside of my race. So
Okay.
he was the first one that I've dated outside of my race. But I did it as, because my philosophy is why not? So he asked and I said yes, and he was really, really nice. He just didn't have enough swag for me.
Right.
Like if I date outside of my race, I need them to have a little and he didn't. But he was a nice man.
Okay.
But that's
What about you,
encouraged, though.
Melanie?
I see that a lot, though. If you notice, with all the dynamics going on, interracial is like a big, like throughout the time has been, but there's like a push for it. Like if you,
Mhm.
I've seen women, black women, and sites that are encouraging it more interracial because people are human. I get that. You understand, but the world is just so mean and cruel. And then I've seen interracial, and we see it all the time, and I've seen this between white and black, and then they men, and then they call you the N word. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen some craziness happen with interracial when they get angry. You understand? And then people's, I want to say, true colors, right? Because how can you marry someone and then, you know what I mean, and have children with them and can call them an N word? You understand?
You,
Like,
you just got to learn that karate chop. So when they do that N word, you chop them in their throat, and they won't do that no more.
okay, see the auntie, you got the knives to the left, and you got the chop to the throat to the right.
Yeah.
All right, I want to give Melanie's answer before I ask the last audience question. What about you, Melanie?
So I feel if a particular race of men have a reputation, like a stereotype, their reputation precedes them, I typically try to stay away. So I won't date a Dominican man because I know he will slap me. That's the reputation that they have, is that they're a little bit more physical. But other than that, like I said, like I would say Middle Eastern as well, because I've heard that because of their religion, they're a little bit more aggressive with their women. They are not as, loving or whatever. So I haven't like strayed out of my race too much other than white or Latino. That's pretty much it for me.
Okay, all right. That was the audience question. The next audience question is, are you okay with not getting married and having someone just to travel with and be more of a companion?
Well, as long as you know you can't have sex because you can't talk about God and then have that part, right? So if you're looking for the intimacy, then I'm gonna have to say a hard no, right? Because I desire to be married because I want to be intimate because you know what I mean. It's Tarzan Jane. Remember Little Red Riding Hood and Bonnie and Clyde. I'm all what I'm saying, and I just believe I'm gonna have to be married for that. No, for me, no. If I could do that, if you know what I mean, because that's where discipline comes in, right? Because I am looking for someone to just go bowling with, have a good time with, live life with, until Mr. Right comes my way, right? But at the same time, there's that discipline. If you want to be pleasing before God, I desire to be right before God. So for me, if they don't want the physicalness, no, let's go. I'll see you tomorrow at the bowling lane. Meet me up there at the Revolutions. I'm just saying, right? But if it's anything else, I'm gonna have to pass if that's what you're looking for.
Got it. I like the honesty. What about you, Miss Marcia? Would you be okay not getting married and having someone travel with, companion, life partner?
Um, yes, I've been married twice, divorced twice. Um, I want to be married again because I want to spend the rest of my life with my person. Um, but the more I think about it, if my person and I knew that was my person and say they really didn't want to get married again, I'd be okay with just, us going through the rest of life together, you know?
Yeah.
But then you'd have to I always think about marriage also for legal reasons, right? We always think about marriage. Remember, it was
Mhm.
contractual back in the day. So, 'cause for me, if I was thinking like that, I would be like, okay, if we plan on being life partner, we're gonna have to put some paperwork together, right? Because then you got them kids who put you out the house when he gone, because we ain't like you anyway. So you done
Oh
travel all the
no,
way
no, no,
down
no.
North
We
Carolina.
we're not. If we get stuff together, that's gonna be,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that
yeah,
part.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
You have
I
yours, I
already
have
saw that
mine.
anyway. I
Just
just said that.
somebody to go through life with. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But I did think I kept saying, "Oh, I want to get married again," and everybody's like, "Number three?" I'm like, "Yes," but if they didn't want to get married and they really were checked off all the other boxes,
Right.
I that's a compromise I could do.
Okay.
And unlike Gwen, we're being intimate. That is not off the table.
Miss Tommy, what about you? Would you be okay at this point not getting married again, having a life partner, companionship, traveling?
I'm not a girlfriend material. I'm
Mhm.
married. I'm marriage material. I'm all about husband and wife. So I'm not going to settle for not being married.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because I'm not into the dating scene really. I mean, this is something new for me here, but I'm wifey
All day. All day. All
all
day.
day.
And what,
Mhm.
and what about
Yeah,
you, Melanie?
Um, I would say ideally I'd like to be married. I want to make that vow and feel kind of sort of secure that the person that, is with me made a vow before God, unbreakable vow to like honor and all that stuff that's involved in marriage. I'd like it. But if we're a companion and we're traveling, I mean, are you just offering me something with perks? And what kind of perks are you expecting in return? I mean, I don't get it. Like a companion versus like a relationship that doesn't have a commitment. Like, I don't get the question, you know?
Yeah,
Are
that
you look,
was the question.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Think about
I would
that. What you
say,
I didn't mean to cut you out. I
mm-hmm,
just, right,
no,
but
go
think
ahead.
about that, right? That's how relationships happen. And then your
Mm-hmm,
feelings get caught up. You understand? And so, unless you are grown, see, to do that, you need to be grown, right? You need
exactly.
mm-hmm,
to know who you are. That person needs to know who they are, right? And you can handle that.
Yeah.
Because I always tell folks, oh, we could be friends, but I realize I cannot be your friend. You
Right.
understand? You play no games with me. And especially, so you got to be able to be strong and say that because feelings are what they are. And if they're meeting a need and then that person meets someone, now your heart is all crushed. Well, I thought it meant, and then the person will be like, I was clear with you. I was transparent. I'm just looking for a companion. And that's why I'm saying make your intentions known. So if that includes, friends with benefits, say that.
mm-hmm.
Use
I
your
Exactly.
think the
words.
Yeah.
question, it's to me,
Exactly.
the question was saying it's a person that wants to be with you. They
Oh,
just
okay.
may not want to get married again. Like my
Oh, okay.
last husband, when we were dating, he said he went through a bad divorce and he never wanted to get married again. And so I said, "Oh, well, I do. I had went through a divorce. It wasn't a bad one. So we both had one marriage under our belt. And so when we went on our first date, we talked about it. And he was like, I don't want to get married again. And I'm like, okay, we can just be friends because I knew what I wanted.
Right.
And then 6 months later, he proposed. So
Hmm.
he changed his mind. So the way I understood the question is the same as if I decided I didn't want to get married for a third time. And I'm dating this man, and this man is like, I want to marry you. And I'm like, nah, I done did it twice. I'm good. I shouldn't be eliminated just because I don't want to get married again. If we
Right.
if we're doing, if everything else is working for us.
Yeah, I
But I
think
thought that was beautiful, though, what you said, though.
Somebody
yeah.
would catch feelings and somebody wouldn't. That you're both feeling it. It's just it may not be a good idea for me to do a third time.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is what Ms. Gwen was saying is to be on the same page about
Right.
how you're defining it. Because what I'm
Exactly.
seeing in the dating world, at least especially amongst my age group, is folks want the benefits of a relationship without the responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have somebody there for the emotional support, the physical support, all the things, but you don't want to have any responsibility for this person to say, oh, well, we're not committed. So I feel like folks want to play that in between. And it's really important to have like clear definitions of what this means for both people. And
Absolutely. And at our age, though, sometimes it's a financial thing.
mm,
Sometimes it's,
That
it's
part.
not as
Right.
smart to get married at our age
true.
because of Social Security and pension. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So there has to be a really good reason.
Mm.
And like Gwen said, we have to be on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies, this has been wonderful learning more about you, chatting about love, life, and all of the things. So the only last question I have for everyone, and just very, very quickly, What is one thing you're going to be doing differently from today going into your dating life if you are actively dating? And I think everybody on here, except for me, is actively dating or tiptoeing back into the dating scene. One thing that you're going to be doing different going forward. And I'll start with Miss Tommy.
Gosh, that's kind of hard for me to answer. Can you skip me and I can come back
Sure.
with an answer?
Sure, Miss Gwen. One thing you're going to be doing differently going forward.
Not settling.
There
If
we
you're not
go.
clear, if you're not using your words, I'm just not the one for you.
Amen. Miss Marcia?
Nothing. I think what I'm not saying what I'm doing now is working because I'm not going on dates, but I don't see anything that I need to change. I just need to sit and be patient and wait on God to send him.
Right. All right. Miss Melanie?
Different, I think, is like what I did with the last person that I went out on a date with. It was like, okay, if it's not aligning, if it's not, like I said, with the ideologies being completely opposite, I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, he can do this for me, he can do that for me. Like, look at all the potential of what it could be. If it doesn't align with what I'm looking for, which finally I figured out at 45 years old, then I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna use my big girl words. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miss Tommy?
Well, I agree with Marcia because there's nothing that I would change because the same thing goals that I had before we got on here, I have the same goals now. I haven't changed anything because, like I said, I'm marriage material. I'm not a girlfriend, so
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing to change.
All right, I hear that. All right, ladies.
Mhm.
Well, this was lovely. I wish you all the best in your love journey. I'm hoping that you get to go dancing with your lover, go bowling, get to North or South Carolina, and get that first marriage under your belt, Melanie. I'm wishing you all the best
Thanks.
in love.
And you notice she put the knives away and used her big girl words. You know that, right? So
Yes,
there was growth on the phone. She done moved from knives to the words, girl.
And
I love it. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in from Facebook World, Zoomland, and all the other places that you're looking in from. Thank you to Miss K and BCI Productions for putting this together. And until the next time, we'll see you all. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, BCI. I don't even know how to hang up the phone, Lord. Oh,
Me?
my goodness.
Give me a second. Leave to the right.